So, welcome everyone to today's learning objectives. And today we are going to talk about client-facing tools in your Microsoft 365 subscription. So, the subscription that I have access to is the Microsoft Business Standard, which is the one that's $12.50 per user per month. And it has a whole lot of features and functions that you can use. And I've done lots of programs about them, so I'll send you the materials that we have for those. But what I wanted to focus on was some of the stuff that you can use in the 365 subscription that you can that are kind of client facing, things that you can use with your clients to help you have better communication and functionality. So the first thing we're going to talk about is OneDrive. So I'm going to actually share my OneDrive with you, but whether or not you actually use Microsoft OneDrive to store your documents or synchronize with your local files, if you don't have another tool like Dropbox or ShareFile or um, a client portal through a practice management application, and you have OneDrive and you just want to make it easy for people to be able to upload files to you without emailing them, which is convenient because this is a way you can have people share multiple files with you. And then the other thing is, if you want to, you can actually create a shared folder. But the first thing I'm going to focus on is just creating a folder that a client can upload files to you, but not actually see what's in there. So ostensibly, you could use this for multiple clients because the clients can upload a file to you. They cannot see what is in there. They can't download anything. It's just a way to upload. You could put this on the link on your website. You could put the link in your email signature. And again, you don't have to be using OneDrive as your total storage solution. It's just something that if you need an easy way for a client to securely upload a file to you or multiple files versus email, this is something that you can do. So I'm going to go into my OneDrive and show you what that looks like. So this is my OneDrive, and I do use this for document storage. If you haven't used OneDrive, you can see that I have my personal files, which is OneDrive, but I also have access to my SharePoint files and folders. So if you're in a firm that is using SharePoint to access kind of the equivalent of a server, you'll be able to open up OneDrive and see both your shared files in OneDrive, I mean, in your OneDrive as well as SharePoint, but we'll look at SharePoint in a sec. So say I wanted to create a folder for my clients to be able to upload files to me. So I've already created one called Client Files Uploaded from Web. Um, so what you would do is just create the file or the folder rather. So you can go up here and we'll just create a folder and we'll say, give it a name. There's your new folder. So then if I select this folder by clicking the little plus or the check mark, up at the top, you'll see that there is a button called Request Files. And so that's what we're going to do and click on Request Files. Then you can give this a description. So say you're in an estate planning practice. Call this estate documents. And then you'll click Next. This is the link that you can use, and you'll see that the permissions are anyone with a link can upload file, and that's the default, and there is no changing it. Or you can send it via email to a specific person, but it does not actually create a new permission. I'm going to send this to myself. And then you can add a message. You can provide instructions and you can click send. The other way you can do this is request files. It remembers what you put in there before, and then click next, and you can just copy that link. Then when someone gets it, we'll go over and see if it's gotten into my Gmail. Sometimes it takes a second. I recently redid my inbox, so I have no idea. There it is. So your client will get an email that has your name, whatever name you have registered with 365, and then it has your message, and then they click upload files. They don't have to have a Microsoft subscription or anything like that. They're going to see exactly what you're seeing. So they can click select files. It's going to take them to their own local files on their drive. And we'll just pick a few files. They also get upload from mobile. So if they have their mobile device enabled, they can upload from mobile. And then they have an option to add more files. Because this is coming to me, it has my name. It appends their name to this and shows them progress and gives them the option to upload more. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we'll go back into that folder and open it up. And there's all those files that your client just uploaded to you. And again, you saw that the only thing they can do is upload files to you. They can't see anything else. When they upload the file, it automatically appends their name and then puts an underscore. So you'll know who sent you the file because it has their name in it. And so that's why I said you could actually just create a single folder and give anybody the link. You could create multiple folders for different clients if that's the way you want to do it, or you could just create one. And then you can go back and in this folder, you can, when you go to request files, you can just, and it remembers what you put, copy the link, put that in your signature block, whatever you want to do. So that's one thing you can do. Does anybody have any questions about that? So moving on, say we want to create a folder and give someone access to it. So we'll add a new folder. And it's making it all pretty for you. You can upload an existing one or just create a new one. Name this, and we'll call this Sally Jones files. So when we go into Sally Jones's files, we can then share them with her by selecting the folder, going into share. Then you can share it directly with her. Again, she does not need to have a Microsoft 365 account What happens is if she doesn't have a login for 365, it'll give her an authentication code and that will email to her. And then you have selections for permissions. So I can say she can edit or she can view. She can't download. So you can make this, you can add permissions. Then if you click on this button, people you choose, that's the option you want to make sure that you check so nobody else gets access to this. And again, this person can edit, which means they can edit the files in the folder, or they can upload and download things, can view, so they can view things and download them, can't make any changes. If I say can edit, I can also say can't download. So once you pick what you want, then you just click apply, and then you can share this, and I'll show you. And then we'll send it. It'll probably take a second again to show up in here. But those are two ways you can use OneDrive to easily and quickly either collect files from your clients or share files and give them access to a folder. So you can see here, been invited, please keep this private. I put that. When they open it, if they have a 365 account, they're logged in, and then they can download, add files, download files, whatever permissions you've given them. So that's basically it. Not terribly sophisticated, but if you need a kind of more secure way than emailing files and back and forth, that is something that you can do. The next thing that I want to show you is SharePoint. So this gets a little bit more sophisticated in terms of what you can do. And this is part of your 365 subscription. The way that you find it, I just go to Microsoft365.com, and I'm just going to navigate there so you can kind of see how you get there. So if you go to Microsoft365.com and log in, you're going to see this kind of home page, and it's going to show you commonly used applications, and these open in the browser, although you can make them open in the software that's installed on your computer as well. But if I want to see all the apps, I go up to this, what I call the square of squares, which is the app launcher, and click on it, and it pulls up most things, but not everything that you have. So then I want to go to more apps, and this is going to show you that page that we were on, and then you click on all apps because they just want to make it a little bit more complicated. This is the way that I go to see every single thing I've gotten, other apps that integrate with it, my business apps, things that I've integrated, and then all the Microsoft apps. And so here you can go to SharePoint. And for the client facing side of this, what we're going to do is create a site. And when you go to create a site, you have two options. There's team site. This is a private space within your own firm. So if you have multiple people who are on your Microsoft 365 subscription, team sites are basically what they are calling an intranet. So this is a firm site. Everybody has to be part of the 365. You can connect to other Microsoft 365 products. You can add projects from Planner. You can do all sorts of other things and have kind of a local site. The other one, communication site, it clearly says share information that engages a broader audience, create a portal or subject focused site, engage dozens or thousands of viewers, create content authors and site visitors. So we're going to do this one to work with clients. And then they have some templates already created. So if you wanted to scroll through and look at what you've got in terms of options, they have a standard communication, highlight news and announcement, promote events, surface content. What's included on one homepage, you can preview the site. And so I'm going to go back and we're just going to pick a blank one. And you can customize it from beginning to end. So we're going to give this a site name. We'll say, we're going to call this client portal. And it tells you that's available. And click create site. And then you can walk through and add things that you want to add. So under new, you can add a document library. So say, for instance, you have documents that you typically share with clients, how-tos, onboarding things like that. They can see that. You can add lists, you can add pages, you can add news links, applications, and you can add apps that are popular in the SharePoint store, help desks, so you could create a ticketing system, please get in touch with me, calendars, all sorts of things. And then once and it kind of keeps walking you through what you can do. So let's do a new document library. And you can use an existing library. You can add a template, invoices, we'll choose learning. I can pick documents that I already have. So, if I've already got files to add, these are actually files created by Microsoft, so it's pre-populated, or you can go back and add your own. And you can also go up here and add documents. So we'll upload a folder a long time ago. So this is, again, just a client communication portal, and people can see this. You can create pages and mess around with those. You can add scheduling. You can add, and a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you, you can add to these pages. And then once you're finished with all of that, and again, it kind of gives you what's in the page. Then you can also see little statistics about who's used what. Go back to the home page and then click share, copy a link to the page. People with existing access. So if you invite specific people, people you choose, put in their name or email address. You probably just want to make it view, apply, and share that page. This takes a little bit of effort, obviously. It's almost like creating a little website per se. But one of the things that I've learned is that, did somebody have a question?
Yes, I do.
Sure.
Do you create a new site for each client, or do you create one site and you have multiple clients in the site, or what's the best practice on that?
So it really depends on what you're going to put in. So you could create a portal for each client. That would be kind of a pain. But if you have things like if you have an estate planning practice and you have a bunch of articles and videos and other things that you typically share, but you don't always share them outside of your clients, so that you wouldn't necessarily put them on your website. Or you have a criminal practice and you have a bunch of videos on preparing for court and things like that. This is just a place to put those on there where, you can also give clients the ability to upload files. Or no, you don't want to do that here. You just want to be able to share information. So the new thing that they've created for SharePoint is through the Power Platform, and that's the thing I'm going to show you next. And that is the Power Pages. Now, Power Pages are new, and I will say that I don't know how long they're going to last because these are through the Power Platform. Power Platform products use Copilot AI. Right now, it's in there and it's free for 30 days. And then there's two tiers of pricing. One's 200 a month that supports authenticated access to 100 users, and the other is 75 a month and allows for 500 anonymous users. So if you were going to create little portals, this might be an option. And if you think about it, $200 a month feels expensive to me. So the $75 a month, again, for anonymous users might be more affordable. But let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go back here, and this Power Pages thing is right here. Best practice would be to use a practice management application. That has a portal built in. But if you're using an installed practice management application like Time Matters or PC Law or something like that, you're not going to be able to create a portal because those are locally installed products. And so if you've got Clio or Rocket Matter or MyCase or something like that, you've already got client portals, much easier to create than this. So I created a sample page, and we'll go preview it. And I just followed the bouncing ball for an FAQ. And you can see that this is private, only specific people can view this. There's a home page, an about us page, contact, FAQ, resources, and you just build it. Again, it's pretty simple to build. So I will walk you through that real quickly. You can start from a template, which I always find easier because it's easier to edit something than to start from blank. So we're going to start with the template. So it gives you starter layouts. Do you want to make a scheduling page? Do you want to have, an FAQ? That's the one I chose before. We'll just preview this, choose this template. You can create a web address right now, but you can actually add your own domain to this later. And then it does all the magic in the background. Hopefully this actually works. This is always the danger of live demonstrations. That what worked for me yesterday sometimes takes longer or doesn't work today, but we'll find out. Oh, and by the way, when I created that folder and shared the file with me, and I got the uploaded files, I also got an email notification that someone uploaded files to me. So when you're in OneDrive and you do that request files, when someone uploads them, it emails you notification so you know definitively that someone's uploaded new files for you. So that's a convenience as well. So it does warn you this could take a few minutes. this morning, for some reason, Microsoft has been a little slow on this stuff, but it is moving through and creating all the site components and all that kind of stuff. And while it is taking time, if you've ever built a website, you know that this is faster than that and far less complicated. All right, so now we've got our client portal site, and if I want to edit it, and you see that it's still kind of working on it. And then once I can go in and edit it, that will be there, but we'll go and edit this one. And for each page, so we're on the home page, I can change the design, data forms, ask questions. You can build bots on this because it has the AI built in. Go to the About Us page. So what was kind of interesting is that I think all of this I built by telling it to look at my existing page and pulling in information over there. So some of this I didn't actually have to write the copy. Then, you know, this copy was added for me, and then I can make some changes to it. The Contact Us page, it just puts in filler information for you. So it builds the pages and then you go edit them. And then for the frequently asked questions, I just went in and said, and it uses the generative AI and will give you content and text. Um, which isn't always very good. And then, but I just put a bunch of frequently asked questions in there. So this is another, and then you can style it, change the color schemes if you wanted to make it, use your brand colors, use your headers, use your own logos and backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. You can do that. But it's just, and again, you can go into preview mode, look at this on the desktop. So for firms that have a primary website already, but you wanted to be able to create kind of niche pages, this might be a way to do it. And when I say a niche page, say you have an estate planning practice, but you want to have an educational site about what happens to our pets. You could create a subpage for what happens to our pets. See if the other one is ready. These, by the way, are not live until you push them live. So here's my client portal. It's ready for me to go in theory. And again, you just kind of fill in the blanks. It lets you create individual pages, subpages. And then you can also use the AI to generate content. So this is just another tool that you have. If you are not very savvy at building your own web pages, or you just want to create some web pages for clients on the fly that you can kind of turn on, turn off, this is something that you can use. I think I've had this for over 30 days and they haven't cut off my access yet. But again, not sure how long this will stay free. And because the Power Platform products are all not technically part of 365. The next thing I think is really interesting, and it's called Sway, and it's just a way to make your documents look more attractive. And so I'm going to show you two ways to do that. One is to take an existing document and I'm opening this up in Microsoft Word. And then I'm going to go to File, Export, no, sorry, Transform. And it says Transform to a web page. And then I can pick how I want it to look. Just pick this one. And when I click transform, what it actually is doing is transforming it into a Sway web page. So this is another thing that you can do with existing content. Documents that you've created, you may have saved them as PDFs and shared them with your clients. And then you can share this once you get ready. And it just turns the page into a slightly more attractive web oriented site. So all the links stay the same. Then you can go through and edit it and say I wanted to add backgrounds. I wanted to change the design. I wanted to click over on design. You can change elements here. And then you can also embed other elements within this. So if I wanted to click on background, I can upload files that people can access. I can link to YouTube. I can link to Power Pages, SharePoint, other sways, videos. These are just suggested. You can go to YouTube. I wonder if I can add a we're looking through created commons videos. But you can add all sorts of elements to this. And then once you're finished making it pretty, you can click on play, and it's kind of a again, it just makes things look prettier, and you can edit this, add navigation, um, and then eventually when you get it nice looking, you can share it with specific people or anyone with the link. You can also post it to your social. You can uncheck viewers can share buttons, and so on and so forth. And then I can go and look at all of my Sway templates that I've created. And you can start one of these from scratch, or you can start it from a template. So again, there's multiple ways you can consider what you do. I find that I've just taken my existing documents to make them look prettier. You can also convert a PowerPoint to Sway. But if you just need to make something that's kind of boring look more interesting and do it quickly, you can create this sway. And sway again is in your all apps down here. So any questions about that? So you have a forms tool that you have access to in Microsoft 365, and there's a number of things you might use forms for. So a lot of people have created forms in SurveyMonkey or Google Forms or something like that. But here you have something built into your Microsoft 365. So there's some advantages to it. So I can look at the forms that have been filled. So for instance, and I use forms a good bit, especially when I need people to give me specific information rather than sending an email to a bunch of people and getting, you can ask a bunch of questions in an email, but the way they get that information back to you is sometimes clunky. It's not easy to digest. And so I create forums. So this is a forum that I use to invite um, speakers to speak at an event. Oops. Well, it's my own forum. Okay, so this is the forum, and you can make them quite pretty. These are just templates. And then I can go over and easily see the responses. And then I can export or view my results in um, individually, or I can export them to Excel. So you just go and it automatically lets you download a copy of the results in Excel. And to give you some other examples, one that might be a little bit more salient, I will just create one. So you have forms and quizzes. Quizzes are for tests. Now, you could create a quiz as a test if you want to quiz a client on their preparedness for, um, their deposition or something like that. But if you just want to create like a client satisfaction form, we'll name this, uh, say, then up here, if you have a logo that you can go upload or access from your OneDrive, I'll say, I'll go into my pictures. And it'll put my logo in there. And then you start building out your survey. Now, have any of you built surveys in a survey building tool like Jotform or SurveyMonkey or Google Forms or anything like that? Because the process is very similar. One of the things that I do like about this Microsoft tool is you click on here for more question types. You can do a ranking, a Likert, a net promoter score. Uh, I was doing a program on client-centric services, and one of the things that I remind everybody is if you have a hard time getting your clients to give you extensive feedback, one easy way to get quick feedback is just use this net promoter score. Net promoter is literally one question. How likely are you to recommend us to a friend or colleague? If you got no other information out of them, that's something to ask them. Then if they answer that question and bounce out, hey, that's a pretty important piece of information. But then you can continue to go on, and it also gives you question suggestions. How would you rate your overall experience? Select areas you were more satisfied with, less satisfied, so every time once you start with the first question and you click that little uh, recommended button, it starts helping you fill things out. So we're going to click out of that and we're going to add text boxes and we're going to say name. So when you put in name, remember that every time you create a survey, you want to get as much information as possible. Um, so we're going to put in first name. And then middle name. If you click on, sometimes it starts recognizing that the next thing you want to do is a last name. And so sometimes it'll start suggesting content to you, which is also helpful. And then say, let's how long do we take to address your concerns? Please share and add these selected to. It automatically fills this in, so that's convenient. And then you can edit any of these. If you want to add skip logic, the best way to do, and skip logic is when they answer one question one way and then it asks them another question based on the response to the previous question. My suggestion is create the entire form with every single question that you want. And then you go in here and you can say add branching. So how likely are you to recommend us? If they have anything less than a 10, add branching. And we're going to go down and say, how long did it take us to address your concern? So you click next, and then that's going to take them to these other questions. Once you've done that, you can change the style so you can make it look a little bit more attractive. You can add some animations, and then you can preview your form. So on and so forth. Submit. Now, one thing to be very aware of here is that um, the default, for some reason, under collect responses is only people in your organization can respond. So if you leave that, nobody can respond except for people in your firm, which really isn't all that helpful. So we're going to change this to anyone can respond. And then I can shorten this URL. I can actually change the name. So we're going to say, I think there's a way to do this. No, you just get a short URL that they make and then copy the link. You can also go up here and create a QR code. You can send an invitation to someone to take that. So if you're sending your closing letter, you can send the invitation, so on and so forth. So, and then when you want to stop collecting responses, you can go into settings. You can create start dates and end dates, allow respondents to save their responses. So make sure you go into the settings and make sure that everything, there's a submit another response by default. So you want to hide that if you don't want them to. Create a customized thank you message. You could take them to your website, something like that. So, it's again, not very different from other form tools that are out there. But it is something that is built into your 365 account. And so you kind of keep it all in-house. And you can also then use it to embed it in a Sway or something like that. So any questions about that? Seeing none. This is one, does anyone use a booking tool like Calendly or Acuity or something that is built into your practice management application so that people can book time on your calendar with you? All right, I'm not seeing that anyone is. How many of you would be interested in doing something like that, or does that make you really nervous? Okay, so for what it's worth, um, I use this. I have used a product called Calendly probably for a decade. And since I've never had an assistant to book things for me, I find this invaluable because it gets me out of the way of getting people booked for time on my calendar because they can actually see free busy time on my calendar and just book time. Change time, get reminders, all that kind of stuff. And so I've been using Calendly primarily because it's something that's been around a lot longer than bookings, but now you have this built into the Microsoft 365 suite and it integrates with your calendar and everything. So let's go take a look at this. So we're going to go over into bookings and you can get pretty complicated with this. You can set it up so that you can create shared booking pages for your entire firm. If you have multiple people, people can go in and select a drop down to book with a specific person in your firm, all that kind of stuff. So I am going to create a booking page. I'm going to create one from scratch. You can add a logo, choose a business type. You can change your business hours. So if you just want to say, I really only want to be able to use this for when I do client consultations and I do those on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 to 5. And then you can again add other people to participate within your organization. So if you want to have multiple people so that your client could go to your site and book an appointment with you or an associate or a paralegal, you can do that. Then you're going to set up services. And so the default is a 30-minute meeting, but you can customize this later on, but we're going to go ahead and change this. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're going to call this a initial consultation. You can change the time, 45 minutes. You can automatically make it a Teams meeting. So this is going to always be a video conference. Then you can automatically make it a Teams video conferencing meeting or not. Click next. Who can book appointments? Anyone. And again, the little magic mice in the background go spinning around and doing their thing to create this landing page. And it warns you not to stop because it will be gone. All right, so I just now have to share this link with anybody, but there's a lot more you can do. So let's get started. So for one thing, this is looking at, you have to tell it what calendar you want to look at. So in this case, um, it is looking at my calendar. Then in the booking page, you can include data usage, default scheduling policy, customize your pages. So you can choose color schemes, add your logo, all that kind of stuff, your time zone. Under customers, you can add specific customers. This is the part that I think is important. You can add multiple types of consultations. You could do an initial consultation. You could do a client consultation. And each one of these will have its own link. You can add an online meeting. You can also collect payment if you want to through this. Um, you can do availability options. So again, you can set your default to an hour for this with a minimum lead time of 24 hours. So basically, I set this so that I won't have somebody put something on my calendar at 5 o'clock in the afternoon for 8 a.m. the next morning because that would be shocking. So you can do a 24-hour lead time and bookable when staff are free, custom hours. So you go through, we're going to assign me. You can add custom fields. So when someone clicks on this, it's going to ask for email, phone number, address, notes. But you can also ask text questions or drop down questions. What will we talk about today? And you can make these required. And so on and so forth. And then when the pages, oh, and you can put your business your information so you can add your firm name, business phone number, all this kind of stuff, logos, hours. And then if you need to connect with Power Automate, that's a whole different level of stuff. And then we'll go look at the booking page. I obviously didn't make this particularly pretty. We'll choose client consultation and it will show availability. Amusingly, I need to block out that I'm not going to be in the office on Memorial Day, but you can see my next availability is for this time. It's going to ask first name, notes, email, what will we talk about today? And then they click book. When that happens, I get it adds it to my calendar, it adds it to their calendar. If we enable Teams meetings, it's going to create the Teams link in the calendar requests. And then people can go in and reschedule. You can send reminders. There's all the stuff that you can do to get a lot of the bells and whistles that you can get through bookings through one of the other products like Calendly or Acuity, you have to get the paid plan. It is all free within bookings through your Microsoft 365 subscription. The other thing is if you just want to do a personal booking page instead of a firm booking page, then you go up here to personal booking page, and that's just for you. So you have two options. One, a booking page across the firm, and the other is just for you. So any questions about that? The one caveat that I will make is that if you don't effectively use your Outlook calendar to block your time and add meetings and things, if that's not your primary calendar or if you keep a paper calendar, this kind of thing could be problematic because you're not checking your Outlook calendar, or you're trying to sync it up with something else. So if you're kind of all in with 365 and you use Outlook and the Outlook calendar to book all your appointments and meetings and block time and do all those things, then this is a product that will work for you. If that is not you, don't do this because you may miss a meeting and that would be not so great. This one is a product that you get called Stream, and you can basically it's on your own private YouTube. And so with Stream, you can create videos, you can upload existing videos. For instance, I could take the recording of this program and upload it into Stream and give y'all access to it that way. You can also add chapters and transcriptions and see analytics. Pretty much if you've got a YouTube channel, but you don't like the fact that YouTube is throwing up ads every time somebody visits one of your videos, or if you want to be able to save it and share it just to specific people, then Stream is a great option. So we'll go over and look at our Stream options. So if you have an existing video, you can upload it here. If you want to record your screen to show a tutorial on how to do something, you can do a screen recording, you can do a camera recording. You can also create playlists. So for instance, if you want to do a client education playlist, you can create a playlist. And so right here, I've created a playlist for training. And this is internal. So I created a Word tutorial for my team, and it actually is creating this on my firm intranet, which is for our internal staff. But if you want to see what's been created by me, also in Teams meetings, Teams recordings are now automatically going into Stream. But I actually use Zoom and not Teams, long story. But these are a bunch of videos that I've created. And you can go and you can see uh, analytics about the videos. So I can share the video from here with a link at a certain time, just like you can with a YouTube video. You can create an embed code. You can manage who has access to it. You can look at the video settings. So if I wanted to add a thumbnail or an about, add transcript, I can generate transcripts and captions or upload them if I created them elsewhere. So you can go through and you can add chapters. So if you had a longer video and you wanted to say, okay, here's, you know, this is the part of the video that explains this, and so people can kind of skip around, it makes it easier for them. You can see analytics, so how many times people have viewed it, who's viewed it over time. So if this was a training video for your team, then it would show you how many people have accessed it and watched it. You can add interactivity, like forums and call outs. You can edit the video to trim it. You can also, there's a new tool in Microsoft called Clipchamp. It copies it to Clipchamp, and you can do the chapters. Oh, so if you already did all this work in Stream, you don't want to edit in Clipchamp, but if you click on edit in Clipchamp, if you've ever done any video editing, this is a more robust video editing tool than what's in Stream natively. And you can add music, video, images, a lot of other things to a video that you've created. So the workflow would be create your video, open it Clipchamp, make it really pretty, open it back up and stream. Or you can just do some minor stuff in stream itself. And then you can share it with people. So it's nice because, again, if you put things in YouTube, even if you do them as unlisted videos, um, it's still going to show ads unless you pay for it or they pay for it. I'm not entirely clear. I was also experimenting with using avatars, like animated avatars, to create videos. So if you're reticent to put your own video on there, you can create avatars now with artificial intelligence and make them look kind of like you and have them speak and move for you. And it's also just a different way to do things. So I believe that is it. So I will stop the recording, and I really appreciate y'all coming today. And I will share the recording with you, but I'll stop the recording. And then if you have questions, I'll open it to questions.